Hello dear students. So today we will learn about different stages of a startup when a startup is initiated right from an idea stage, and what are different stages or different milestone which a founder has to go through in that journey. So this will give you a clear understanding about the key milestone of a startup in its journey right from an idea stage. So let's start this session. So the first stage of a startup is an idea stage. Now, I'll say when you talk about idea stage, it does not mean only if somebody has got a very first point about an idea or have identified an opportunity of building a startup. So that's the first beginning, but it's not entirely what idea stage comprises of. Idea stage, when I say, it means that as a founder, you are doing two things. You have identified a problem which has to be solved, and there are people who are facing that problem, and you as a founder are proposing some solution to that problem to the people who are facing that. And so when you are selling this solution to the people who are facing the problem, the people will pay you some money out of it, which means you will sustain your business model out of it. So this is everything you are preparing on paper. So in this stage, what we try to do is you try to identify the real problem that your users are facing. You identify the solution that you propose could be the one for that problem. You try to validate the solution by taking several interviews of your users. You try to go and understand people in a market and try to see that whether what you are trying to build is actually solving the problem or not. And then you try to put all of this planning into a piece of paper, or let's say a Word document or a file, and then prepare a business model out of it. So till the time you are planning everything on paper, and you are planning on PPTs or Word file, and then you have entire plan ready in your mind, that entire stage is called idea stage, I would say, because you have not started actual development of your core product or service. So very first stage, right from a point where some idea clicked to your mind, or some problem that you have identified could be solved, till the point where you have identified a solution which is solving the problem, have validated the solution, or have taken feedbacks about it, have done the thorough market research, and you are convinced that now it's a time for us to develop a solution which you have designed, and do the testing in the market. So that is called an idea stage. Second is POC. POC stands for proof of concept. So whatever you have developed, whatever solutions you feel will solve the user's problem, now you are not just verbally talking to your user. You were talking to your user at the idea stage. You were identifying that what kind of product or service will solve the problem. Now once you identified it, you come back to your team, find out a strategy wherein you will develop the first kind of product, which may not be a product as such, but the first version that tests your concept, whether technically what you were designing a solution is feasible or not. So proof of concept basically is developed in a minimal budget, just to make sure as a founder that whether what I was trying to design is technically feasible or not. So you just are doing the feasibility test. So you develop the first version of POC for that. That is proof of concept. Now, once you identified the feasibility check, the technical feasibility of that concept that you were trying to solve, use that in a solution, you then will start a development of MVP, which is minimum viable product. Now, this is an actual product which you will go to your user, the people who are facing the problem, who were looking for a solution, with that MVP. MVP is the first product that you develop, but this product will not have all those features with the final as that of final product, but this MVP will have only those features which are very essential to solve the problem, the key features. So say for example, if I am solving a problem with some product, and this product, the major problem for the people was, let's say, X, and this X problem can be solved by a feature called A. So I will make sure that my first version of MVP will have that A feature in it, and I will sell the product to the, I'll not sell, I'll give the product, the MVP, to the users. Users will test that MVP, will try to understand whether the product is working or not, and give us a feedback. Now, why MVP stage is very important? In MVP stage, as a founder, your focus is to build the product, very minimalistic product that ensures you that your customer, your users are actually happy with the solution that the product is providing. Now, once that is validated, then you go for developing your final product, the full version of your product with all those other accessories and other features which your customers would like to have. So it's like this: there are some features in a product which are must to have, and then there are those features in a product which are good to have. So in MVP, the minimum viable product, you ensure that all those key features which are must to have in a product are there in that product, and you test those. Once they are tested, then you keep on adding all those features which are good to have features for your customers. And so it's like this: your customer will be happy to have these also, but it's okay if they are not there. But if they are there, it will be they'll be more inclined to purchase our product. So then you are going for the final product, that is called product stage. Once the product is ready, you are launching the product in the market, and then you start acquiring your initial customers. That is called early market traction. You start acquiring your 100 customers, 500 customers, 1000 customers, 5000 customers, and depending on the product services you are into the sector, you will start taking the early market traction. Once that is done, once your 1000 customer gives you a feedback. Now many times what will happen is, this is not as simple as what you see here in this process, but after each stage you will go and meet your customers, they will give you some input, you will come back to your place, try to make the modifications, go back with the newer version of the product, take the feedbacks, again come back. This loop will continue till the final satisfaction of the customer. And then once you decide, okay, now this product is ready to be launched in the market, and start acquiring initial customers. So once you feel you have now 1000 customers in your bucket, now this is a time to expand your horizons like anything, and then you go out for raising the private investors and expand your startup into different horizons, like from one city to 5 cities, and then 10 cities, and one state to other states, and then one country to other country, right? And that stage is called growth stage. So that stage from where you have identified, okay, now it's a high time for us to expand our horizons with the same product, you are into the growth stage. So these are typical 6 stages in a journey of a startup founder. It started from an idea stage, then you will move on to the POC stage, proof of concept, then moving to the MVP stage, then a product stage, early market traction, and the growth stage. Now I have given some definite brackets of the 6 stage. The very first stage idea is called a conceptualization, which means you and a team are trying to conceptualize the entire solution, trying to look at the problem, trying to look at the solution, trying to look at the customers, and do all those planning that you do. This is conceptualization. Now from POC to product, you're actually building something. You're building a product. So your more focus is on development of something which your customer wants. You're actually developing something. And then the last stage is revenue or the growth. So this is the stage from early market traction where you will start seeing some money coming into or flowing into your account. So that is the revenue stage. So till that point, in initial 4 stages, you will not see most of the money coming in, apart from the government fundings that you will have for development of your product. But otherwise, most of your customers' money will start flowing in from a early market traction point. So I'll just make you understand all these 6 stages through an example. I hope in earlier sessions we have discussed about the journey of Redbus. The founder Faninder Sama, who got this idea of starting a digital bus ticketing platform. It was all an incident which happened with him during the Diwali break. I hope you're aware about that story. He was working for a company in Bangalore, and then he wants to go to his hometown during Diwali break. But unfortunately, because of the Diwali season, most of the bus were not having any seats for him to get boarded. And then he went from one to other bus operators, in a search of having the seat for a bus to go back to his hometown. But in this process, he went to more than around 9 bus operators, and he could not find any seat. But at the back of their mind, he was also hoping that there was one seat available in any of this bus operating from Bangalore. But he could not reach to that one seat because he's not even aware that where that seat would be. And that's the point where he thought of building a startup in this space, and that's where Redbus idea came into existence. So at that point, that incident clicked him that point. So that is the beginning of an idea stage. And then he called his couple of his friend who was there with him during the bachelor's program. that look, I have an idea, but I don't know how to develop the portals for it. So he joined his hands with other two guys who were computer engineers and then who could build some technical product for it. So initially they would have started developing this concept that how the solution should look like, how will onboard the bus operators, why will they onboard first in first place, how the customers will book the ticket, if they book the ticket, what will happen in the algorithm. So this is something which they started understanding, and that's the stage where the conceptualization happens. Once everything was set, okay, let's go and talk to bus operators. So they might have went to several bus operators, understood their need, whether this kind of platform will help them out, because they went to bus operators saying that, see, look, your bus can be found out by many people across the city, because in physical kind of booking systems you only have a place where people should come physically and then book the ticket. But if you have online, anybody from across the city can see your vacancy and then accordingly they book their tickets. So bus operator were also happy for that. On the other hand, user were also happy because they can book tickets through their mobile heads. They need not to travel from one place to other place. So that's the concept. So they validated it, that whether this is useful or not for the users or for the, because, but here in this case the founder himself have suffered this problem. I think he is the first user of this, so he is a better person to design this kind of startup. So once everything was conceptualized, then both of this other guy, the engineering students with Funinder, have started developing the first version of a browser, how it looks like, and they tested it. Tested in terms of like if somebody books a ticket, whether the ticket is booked and it is visible in the portal of the bus operator or not, and then whether the it is visible in the portal of user or not. So this is the technical testing which went through in a POC stage, and they actually built the first version of their of the platform and sold it to, let's say, I mean, gave it to 15 of different bus operators to test it. They onboarded the operators, they tested it for the users, and they asked initially that, look, those person who come to you physically, ask them to book their tickets only through the application or through the tech platform. You being there on one side, the other person just try to taste the technical things. They tested it, MVP was working very fine, very good. They might have some errors, they would have corrected it in the MVP stage, and then they came up with the final product wherein they have all those features which normally a user would like to have, like, bus ticket booking is one thing, then it is like insurance services, and then you have tracking the bus facility and what else. So that is the final product. And then they started onboarding the bus operators and then promoting the product to all those people, and that's where the actual early market traction happened. So that is the stage when they built the product, they launched it, the digital platform, they onboarded more than 100 bus operators, and the people from across the city started using the application initially in Bangalore area, and then they started getting the revenues out of it, the early market traction. Once they realized this is something is, it's actually working in Bangalore or one city, then they understood, okay, now it's time for us to grow this application, this platform across the country. And that's where they went out for the private funding. They got investors on boarded. With that investment, they expanded the horizons from one city to multiple cities to multiple states, right? And that's the stage of a growth. So I think now you can relate all these stages with this journey of Redbus. Now, when you start your startup, you have to go through all these stages, and finally, after growth stage, you will have two things in your hand. Either you will have, I mean, you will have exit, a good exit. It could be either giving entire startup to somebody else and move away with handsome money out in your pocket, or else you can file an IPO and you can invite public to invest in your startup. So that's the two end result that you will get for your startup: either IPO, or merge with some existing company, some like big fish, acquire the small fish, something like that. So I think you have fairly got an idea of what are different stages of startup. I'll leave you with this quote in your mind: small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, and great minds discuss ideas. I'll have one request to all of you. See, in India or in today's time, there are n number of opportunities for innovation and startup. It's only a matter of time where you observe those situations and try to understand whether there is how can I contribute to the situation. So always keep your mind open, think about ideas, discuss about ideas. So as I said, you small minds always discuss the people, average minds discuss about the events that has happened in and around them, and the great minds always talk about the ideas. So it's you to decide, but I would really wish you are in category of great minds. That's the reason why you are learning this course. With this, thank you so much. We'll see you in the next class. I hope I make you understand about stages of the startups. Thank you.